See this thing? Why don't we have virus protection on our phones? I'm going to get into this because I don't have virus protection on my PCs either. I'm running Linux. So Linux was always a good enough reason to not need virus protection or any other kind of security. I don't know. This is tough. It's tough to wrap your head around. But I'm formulating this kind of idea, and it might be a little crazy, but what if the antivirus software is the virus? Let's get into this a little bit here. So, a friend of mine sent me this last week. This security news: AI found a root bug in Linux that everyone missed for 15 years. I don't know whether magazines like Wired are legit or if they've been infiltrated by the government, spy network, deep state propaganda machine. I don't know. But let's have a look at this here article. It won't let me read it. It won't let me read it until I sign in. You've read your last free article. How does it know I've read my last free article? The article basically says that Nebula Security has published an exploit code for the ghost lock, and they give you a whole bunch of numbers. A use after free bug that sat in the Linux kernel for 15 years and lets any logged in user take root on an unpatched machine. So what that basically means is that anybody becomes the administrator or super user. This might be a concern if you're in a corporate environment using Linux, but for the average user like you and I don't think this is going to be a big deal, considering that our computers are set up as administrator computers anyway. Probably that's why it's gone unnoticed. You see, Linux users, I think, live in a little bubble, and they don't share their computers with other people. So the actual computer that you're using, if it's your Linux computer, is yours alone, hands off to everyone else. This is not a common sit down in the corporate office and log into that computer kind of scenario, which is okay. What else does this thing have to say here? The flaw shipped by default in essentially every mainstream distribution since 2011 and needs no special permissions or network access. Nebula's exploit escapes containers and was 97% reliable in testing. It earned a $92,237 payout through Google's kernel CTF program. It was fixed in April this past year, but patch availability is uneven. Ubuntu, as early as July, still listed at 24.04, blah, 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 as vulnerable or in progress. So defenders should confirm the fixed package rather than assume one is waiting. Interesting stuff, eh? Notably, Nebula found the bug with Vega, its AI-driven bug hunting tool, part of the 2026 run of Linux privilege escalation flaws surfaced by Atomized tools, combining old kernel code few had reread in years. Interesting little article. Thanks, Glenn, for sending that my way. I'll tell you what I glean out of that article. And it's short and sweet and simple and all that kind of stuff. But how does it really apply to us? This is what I'm getting at. Let me have a look here. I'm going to open up a new tab. And that brings me on to this, a data cleaning software that you can start paying somebody, some other company, to do things like scrub your computer for places and internet sites that you have given your data, and it retrieves it. So data cleaning software identifies, corrects, and removes inaccuracies, inconsistencies, and duplicates from data sets to ensure high data quality for analytics and reporting. The market offers a wide range of tools tailored to different needs, from open source options to enterprise-grade platforms. All right. So basically, this is the question I have. For a tool to go through the internet and scrub your data, it must know what your data is. So once it's done all this scouring the internet and retrieving your data, that software program, app has your data. And so what are they going to do with your data? I suppose they give it back to you, right? Maybe, or maybe not. So this is one of the questions that comes up in my head. And if going back to this crazy article that I was reading, that the potentiality of abuse has been in the Linux operating system or the Linux kernel itself for 15 years. And we're just now looking at it. So we're saying in the last 15 years that we've been jeopardized. Because I'll let you in on a little secret. I've never been hacked, ever. So I've been around and had computers most of my adult life, and I've never been hacked. And I've never paid for antivirus software either. Only protection I've ever had was built into the system. It's basically just my firewall. And all my firewall does is, let data out, let data in, depending on whatever rules I give it, which I've given it none. No rules. So it's denying anything coming in. Everything, no exceptions. But everything that I want to send out, it allows. That's just how I have it set. So maybe I don't understand how firewalls work. I'm sure a lot of people out there will, send me a little message below, tell me how the firewall works. And if the firewall works, why would I need antivirus protection if it won't allow anything in anyway? So with all these companies out there that are trying to get your business, I think that they're selling a Trojan horse. I'm really starting to believe this. So you might just sit back and think, well, you're running Linux, you're really not at high risk. But Linux is becoming more popular. More people are using Linux as their go-to computer, the one that's sitting on their desk, because it's reliable, doesn't collect your data, all kinds of stuff. You don't need to be online to be on Linux. And apparently this is the trend of Windows and Mac users, is that the systems only works when you're online. And so Linux people still aren't getting hacked, are we? If anybody out there, and you can put it down in the message below, if you're using a Linux operating system, let me know what Linux system you're using and if you've been hacked. And did you ever figure out why you were hacked? What crazy website were you on where you said, yeah, I'm going to save my cookies, and yeah, I'm going to download something from you? So I've never been hacked. But that brings me back to the stinking phone. We don't have antivirus software on our phone. Can you get antivirus software for your phone? Apparently you can get it. Bitdefender Mobile Security is widely recognized as the best overall antivirus for Android, offering a perfect balance of robust malware detection. I'm going to tell you something. This just goes to show you how little I really know. Thanks everybody for following me, because maybe I'm just stupid. But I never knew this stuff existed. Antivirus free, all these different things. But I've never gotten a virus. And I've been a mobile phone user since mobile phones were a thing. And you might say, well, maybe Remy, you don't use your phone the way we use our phone. Well, how do you use your phone? I make phone calls on mine. I text. If I'm out and about and I need to know something or find something, search something, compare something, I'll go online and do that on my device. I'm not a diehard kind of anti-tracking thing, because quite honestly, and don't get me wrong, I was at one point, be careful with where you go, turn your tracking off, turn all this stuff off. If somebody's looking for you, if some unknown government entity, ne'er-do-well, wants to find you, they're gonna find you. It's not hard for them. They know everything that you do, everywhere that you are. So you might as well take advantage of the tool that you have in your hand to make your life run smoothly. Anyway, let me know what you think about these kinds of things down in the comments. I'm really interested to know, especially if you're operating a Linux operating system like I am. Did you even think about security? I mean, internet security, you're going to set that up in your browser, right? If you set your browser up properly, isn't that sufficient? And a lot of people say, well, no, you need extra protection. It's like, I don't get it. I guess I don't get it. I don't really get it. Maybe we have to look a little bit deeper. Maybe we need to kowtow into the fear campaign, the terrified consumer propaganda that's out there. I think that really exists. I think there's a culture of fear that drives us to do stuff or nudges us to do stuff. And that's why we do it. So am I going to run out now knowing that 15 years ago there was a security breach in a Linux kernel that could make me want to suddenly jump on a antivirus security heightened whatever bandwagon for Linux users? I sure hope not. I would like to think that people who have switched to Linux for security reasons and privacy reasons and control reasons are just a little bit more savvy than that they will, because they hear something, will suddenly try and lock themselves down and create a panic room. I think it's just a little crazy. I think that's all. I'm not going to get too upset about this kind of stuff. It was an interesting article that it's been there for 15 years. I don't think Linux has joined the ranks of the big brother yet. Anyway, it's let me know down below if you have antivirus software on your Linux. Why would you go through the trouble? Because this, I can't imagine this. I can't imagine to download, install, and go through the effort of changing to a Linux operating system, and then use an antivirus software that's going to, I can't even put it into words. I never saw antivirus software as anything but, this is the kind of, it's insurance for stupid people. Yeah, it's insurance for stupid people. And I'm going to explain this simple. If you go online and you tell your computer to remember everything, remember your passwords, your login, remember your credit card numbers, remember your expiry dates, remember all these things so that it makes it easier for me when I'm doing work, then you've just opened up a huge security breach. And so that makes you vulnerable. So do you need some security? Another program to monitor all these other websites that are using the data that you're willingly providing. Why would you even do that? The truth of it is that your security lies within your own hands, and it's you that's ultimately responsible for maintaining your data. And that's it. Okay, that's it. Thanks for watching. We'll see you soon.